Welcome to the Business Owner Spotlight Series. My name is Gabriel Moore. I am the senior partner and head coach here at Action Coach Vanguard Business Coaching in Central Iowa. Today I have Meksay, the owner of Dreamscape Homebuilders, as my guest. We're going to be talking about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek into what it's really like to build and operate a business. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when we drop new conversations just like this one. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. And the only thing I could tell you is not only am I one of the founders and owners of Dreamscape Homebuilders, but I've also been very fortunate to be an owner of Remax Concepts, which is a real estate brokerage, primarily in the state of Iowa, but we do have an office in Florida. Oh, and
That's
actually,
outstanding. Well,
too.
tell me a little bit about Dreamscape Builders.
Sure. So I went to Iowa State and wanted to become an architect. And I was barely 18 at the time. And I let a college advisor talk me out of going into architecture school. And,
Okay. It's prestigious. Architecture is prestigious.
yeah, I thought so. And I just always have loved drawing. I'm an artist at heart. I'm very creative and love using, the right side of my brain. And she said, to become an architect, it's hard to get in. It's a very long program and you don't make very much. And I was like, oh, okay. I just listened to her and I went ahead and chose a major that was opposite of my natural skill, which was finance. And sure enough, I got a business degree and I became a financial advisor and worked at the Principal Financial Group. And I actually honestly love my job. It was very much like Boiler Room. I don't know if you've seen that movie
Oh
where
yeah.
you
Oh
get
yeah.
calls left and right, and people are calling you, and you're investing. Sometimes it was a few thousand, and sometimes it was a few million. And
Mhm.
I love that job as a starting kind of a career in the real world. But after a while, you worked hard, and I got bonuses and commission. But after a while, you just kind of find yourself not getting paid the return for your time and your energy. And
Right.
all my coworkers were watching the stock market, and here I was looking at floor plan websites, real estate websites, and
Okay.
I always dreamed about becoming a builder and a developer. And sure enough, I quit my job and had a little bit of a stint in between um, real estate, but I got my real estate license. And the reason why I got my license was I thought that would be the best way to learn about new construction, learn about development, and
Okay.
learn it from a sales standpoint because
They are pretty collaborative, right? Real estate and building. I mean, they're not too far apart.
not at all. And I when I was at Iowa State, I actually had sat in front of a real estate broker, and he told me all about, or he told the class, I should say, all about real estate, and that was very intriguing. And I guess the biggest thing, Gabriel, is my wife and I, we not only bought a first house, we built our first house, and I fell in love with that process. We were able to pick this lot, and it backed up to a lake and some trees, and we picked the floor plan, we picked the style, the finishes, and that was awesome. I mean, I was in love from the first day we started that. And then at the closing table, I saw, we called them HUD statements back then. I don't know if you've seen those yourself personally, but pretty much shows the buyer side and the seller side, and it
Yeah.
showed on the buyer side how much my agent made and how much the builder made. I was like, wow. I was like, they had that much fun and they made that much money. And
What a good perspective.
yeah, and I told my agent at the time, her name was Sandy. I said, "Hey, Sandy, what do you think about me, becoming an agent?" She said, "Ooh, I think you'd be great." And sure enough, I got my real estate license. I was pretty successful. I became Rookie of the Year for my brokerage and the MLS
Wow.
Association overall, and to the point where I found a new passion, and that passion was to mentor and coach other agents. And we kind of talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
So that led me to get kind of some offers of ownership and management. And sure enough, in 2010, I was offered by two of the biggest brokerages in the Des Moines area ownership. And I chose one, which was Remax Concepts. And that same year, I officially launched my home building company. I found a partner a couple years prior, and him and I hit it off. And I said, "Hey, man, this is kind of my dream, my goals, my vision." And him and I saw eye to eye. And so in 2010, I became a mentor and a coach and I actually made a deal with my broker at the time. I said, "Hey, if I come over, the deal is the next office that becomes available for ownership, it's mine." And we did a looky in the eye handshake deal, and that's how we got started.
Those handshake deals are always the best. Tell us a little bit about what role you currently play in the business.
Yeah, so I am a still owner operator of Dreamscape Homebuilders. I do have two partners, so they call me the dreamer. I'm the one that gets the chance to meet with our clients, understand their needs, their wants, their budget, of course, their location. So I pretty much, tee it all up on paper in my
Okay.
mind, share my vision with the clients, and then I have a partner that draws the blueprints and he does our pricing, and I have a partner that does the build. And these hands don't really build too much. I just more of a I'm a okay project manager slash coordinator, and I can bring people together and go from there. So I do that about half of my day, and my other half of my day is kind of a ministry slash passion of mine, which is helping agents. So we've
Okay.
got just shy of 500 agents and employees, and I don't do very much with our employees because we've got an awesome leadership team. But I do a lot of coaching, one-on-one stuff, group stuff, and really just
Very
try to
good.
how to help them grow their business, and in turn us add systems and other value ideas, campaigns that really just allow them to grow and be the best agent they can be.
So tell me about your partnership then, because, being a partner with two other partners, there's a lot of businesses out there that have partnerships that are not congruent. They're not conducive to each other. And what does that look like with yours? And if it is successful, what do you think? What do you think the magic? What do you think the magic is?
I think it's a lot of divine, heavenly magic, to be honest with you. For me, I was just very lucky. And in any relationship, right? No one's perfect. I'm not perfect, and many people have different types of personalities, right? And I didn't do
Yeah.
a personality test with my partners. They didn't do one on me. I didn't do an Enneagram test or a disc profile by any means. But early on, we just really, shared a common objective, common goals, common core values,
Okay.
common integrity. And just the way we operate, we're all, I'm very blessed. I have two partners in the brokerage and two partners in the building company. And the key thing we really got lucky about is, my strengths may not be necessarily their strengths, and their strengths definitely aren't my strengths.
Sure.
And I guess I had partners also that had different types of experience. Like I said earlier, one partner was a builder. Primarily had been a framer, had just done everything on a job site ever since he was 14, and the other partner had been drawing blueprints ever since he was a kid. And here I am. I
Is
just
the technical side seemed very appropriate. I mean, that you all brought that element in to bring this triangle of perfection. That makes complete sense to me. But you did talk about personality and core values, and we find that core values plays an integral role in deciding on whether or not partnerships work and whether or not they don't. I appreciate you sharing that. So who does, let's say I was an audience member for Dreamscapes. How, what do I look like? What is your target audience for that company?
yeah, the market's definitely had a huge effect on who a client looks like. But
Yeah.
back in the day, Gabriel, I used to say, I call it the three P's: the people, the project, and the price. And the first P was super important because I had to grow to love the people. I didn't want to build homes for somebody that was just there because I was the cheapest price per square
Right.
foot. I was the fanciest designer. I wanted, to build for someone that I could build a loving, trusting, long-term relationship with. And if I didn't like you,
That's great.
I don't want to build a house for you for 6 to 7 months. And thankfully, we interview our clients just as much as they interview us. And
Yes.
so that's the first thing. And then the project is we get brought a lot of things. Can you build us a tiny home? Can you build us a log cabin? Can you build us this and that? And 80-90% of the time we can build anything that someone brings to us. But there's sometimes that, it's just not worth, really, I shouldn't say worth, but it just isn't our primary passion or wheelhouse. And so it's
Sure.
got to be the right project. And the third P is price. And really, it's all about, I tell our clients, your budget is our budget, and I'll do my best to reverse engineer, work backwards into that budget. So if they give me a budget of X 100,000, I have some formulas, I have some calculations that I put in, and very quickly I can, within the first 5 to 10, 15 minutes, figure out, okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, or Gabriel in this matter, your
Mhm.
budget is X 100,000. I'm going to suggest that, we earmark about 20% of that for the land and the lot development costs. And then based on the other clients that we've worked with, we need some contingency money for upgrades
Mhm.
and things like that. That might be 5,000 or it might be 50,000, depending on the level of the home. And then from there, I ask them, back to those needs and wants. I say, okay, do you need or want a basement to be finished? And then I can back that
Sure.
out of the budget. And then from there, I'm left with, a few $100,000, and we've got these multipliers that we've calculated based off of other clients. So it's kind of a compound effect, Gabriel, where we use recent bids, quotes, pricing. We have
Sure. Almost
great,
like a comparison to the back. And
yeah,
then, another thing too that you mentioned in your industry specifically, um, in the end, customer has control over the price with whether or not they buy, right? I mean, if they buy it, they like the price. They don't buy it, they don't like the price. They have far more control in a situation like yours because you start with a budgeted price, right? Where they actually get to control a lot of the elements, or at least the quality of the elements inside of the build. And it gives them it get it. Do you position that like it gives them far more control over how much it costs essentially because they have the choice of what to put in, what not to put in?
absolutely. We try to be as transparent as possible with our pricing and what standard in our homes. A 9 foot basement, 2x6 framing,
Right.
spray foam insulation around the big box sills and rim joists, and the type of
Mhm.
windows and materials for just everything. And so we're very upfront because I really don't want to sign a contract with a client that doesn't know exactly what they're getting. Because back to me being
Sure.
an agent, I did start with some great builders. I represented them. 2 weeks after I got my license, I represented one of the largest builders in the state of Iowa. So I learned a lot from them, and I definitely didn't take anything proprietary. I was able to create my own system, my own process, and then knowing that I built my own house and have helped hundreds of other clients build their homes before I started my own home building company, I really crafted it to be very customer focused. And so
Sure.
that being said, we don't charge change orders. We don't make them, be with their agent to go tour through the house. We give them a code to the contractor's box, and every dollar, every cent, we are transparent with. We have spreadsheets that we say, okay, this is your allowance for cabinets, flooring.
Very good.
This is what you actually spent. This is your different. And they sign off on everything too, and then we just tally
How
that
does
up.
that, if I may, how does that organization help your company? How does that organization where you're tracking these things and you are, because some people might look at that as robotic. How is that valuable to your company to be able to stay on top of tracking those things?
It's everything. Having systems, having just complete like organization, and we're very tech savvy. We have a third party building software that we
Okay.
use. We're cloud based. We use a lot of Google products, and we
Mhm.
simplify things. So we have I always tell our clients, there's going to be almost 400 things that my team, myself and my partners and our employees and our subcontractors and vendors will be responsible for. And of those people, there's about 100 people that will have some sort of part in the process of building your home, whether it's the person,
Sure. Hands
start
on.
paperwork all the way to our cleaners. And so our job is to, get everybody on the same page with the right information, communication, and just go from there, and just really setting the right expectations. They ask me, how long does it take to build? And, I have answers for pretty much everything, a lot of, common Q&As, and just setting
Yeah.
the stage of organization, communication, transparency, honesty. And I just say, hey, you know, I am available nights and weekends, and I don't probably recommend that as a business owner, but that's just kind of part of my heart, is just to really care for my clients. Because
Unreasonable hospitality is what we call that. And the other thing too, tech really does give us an edge. It really allows us to do more things today than we ever have been before. And for the companies out there that are not utilizing the technology that's available to them, they're really leaving a lot on the table that could be costing their business incredible profits. And you had mentioned before that it's not like certain projects might not be worth something, but you need it to be profitable for your business in order for it to be profitable for your business, right? In order for you to grow or for you to utilize your best talents into something else, should you decide to do so, you need that money fuel to make that happen. And that's where it comes in profits. Am I wrong? Am I right on that?
You're definitely right. I think, the one thing I'm not great as a business owner is always looking at the bottom line. I
Mm,
definitely have organization. I have a finance background. I know my own, P&L statement, income statement, cash flow statement very well. I do know my companies
sure.
as well. But at the end of the day, we know that time is very important. Of course, it's an asset that we don't get back once we spend
Yep.
it.
It's
But I do,
gone.
it's really you'll get everything in life that you want by helping everybody else get what they want. And so, because we know, all the things that it takes to properly bid and build a house, we have a pretty confident track record knowing that we're always going to be profitable. And I don't want
That's
to say
yeah.
it boastfully, but it's just, it is what it
Isn't
is.
that a nice thing to know, though? Isn't that it's something you don't have to stress about? It doesn't have to be top of mind. You've built the system in place so that profit will automatically come. And, for anybody out there that thinks that profit is a bad thing or evil in any way, shape, or form, you may be looking at it with the wrong perception because profit is what helps us actually help other people. It's the fuel that gives, it's a huge resource for getting us out into the world and the community and giving back. And I think I think it tends to be underrated sometimes. And I love that you guys have a system in place that reduces the stress of profitability. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and you're definitely right because there's an abundance of money out there, right? Whether you're a
Mhm.
consumer or a seller, and the
Yeah,
key thing is, it's how do you use your money? How do you give it back to the community? So for me,
right.
home building owner, I know back to those 100 people and back to the amount of homes we build. Our gross domestic production for our small little home building company when we build 24 to 30 some houses, we'll put in 16 to 18 million dollars back into our local market. And
Isn't
so
that
when a
something?
painter or a trim carpenter comes up to me, right around Thanksgiving or Christmas time normally, and they look you in the eye and they shake your hand and they say, you know what, dude, thank you so much for just bringing so much business to you. We're gonna have a great Christmas, and
Isn't that something?
that's
It's
a true statement. And that's and so
so
when I meet
powerful.
clients, Gabe, I call it a win-win-win. So
Oh,
now
I love it.
not only do our
Win-win-win.
clients, they first and foremost need to win because we call it winning the Dreamscape lottery because we don't want to build for everybody. Cut back to those three P's because we only have
Yeah,
so
of
much bandwidth, right? We only have so much
course.
capacity. And so we want them to win because not only did they get an awesome home, but I call ourselves like the Goldilocks of home builders. I say,
Okay.
we're not the cheapest builder in the neighborhood just because we want to use material and labor that will help your home stand the test of time. I want to be able to sleep at night knowing I built you a great home. And then on the flip side, though, even our homes, we're don't want to be boastful, but we win awards for our designs, for our quality. We won People's Choice and City View, which is a publication here in the Des Moines area
Yeah.
for best home builder. And I say, with that being said, we could probably charge Bentley or Cadillac prices, but I don't. I want to be a fair person, a fair business person. I can't sleep at night knowing that I try to hit a grand slam or a home run on you. And if anything, I just need to hit a single just so I can pay my guys, pay our team. And I've been blessed beyond measure. I don't really focus too much on the money part just because, money is it. When you focus on money, it's a lack of focus on value. And I want to make sure I bring value.
Sure.
So
What
back
a
to that win-win.
great quote.
Yes, thank you. Back to that win-win-win though, Gabe. So the clients 100% have to win. They need to win first, and the second people that need to win are the subs and the vendors because they're the backbone, they're the muscle, they're the manpower, and women power too. We've got plenty of women that work with us. That make this all happen. And then we are the ones that eat last. And I don't know if you read that book, Leaders Eat Last.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
there's some times where, I may not see a paycheck just because, we've got something on hold for a project and,
Mhm.
it's the weather or the supply or the labor or whatever. And just like, you know what, it's all good because I know one day it will all come around. And so there's a lot of ups and downs. I say home building is one of the riskiest, most stressful ventures I've ever been into. But when you have the expectation and you put this out, I've added more P's. So it's also the process and perfection. And I tell our clients that they
Okay.
have to trust our process. It's not your process. We build homes. We've built over hundreds and I shouldn't say hundreds and hundreds, but definitely well over 100, probably less than 200 homes. And so you have to understand that this is how we do it. And if you add any, anxiety or worry or stress onto your life based on things that you can't control, but we are in charge of, then that's unfortunately on you. But we are very
Right.
regimented with our schedule. So you have to um, accept our process. But then also from a perfection standpoint, I'm a perfectionist. But if you think that anything that's built out in all different types of climates, with all different types of conditions, with all different types of just variables, you're mistaken. And I
You should
tell
add a P to that, planning.
yes, well, plans. I mean, there's more P's too that I've added, but anyways,
Of course.
back to yeah, back to perfection. I just tell everyone here is trying hard, and everyone wants to deliver you a perfect product, but unfortunately, perfection really doesn't exist in something that every square inch matters, right? And so
Yeah,
I tell people there's a 3% margin of error. And unfortunately, that's probably going to happen. And maybe someone just
of
didn't show up the
course.
day they were going to show up. Maybe material didn't show up when it was supposed to show up. But at the end of the day, we've got that all covered with a lot of buffers.
What approach currently do you guys take to track your leads? When you get leads in, do you use a CRM? You said you kind of leverage technology. Is that something you do with leads?
Yes, I totally have my own CRM that I've built out of a spreadsheet,
Very
Google Sheet,
good.
honest with you, because we have that third party program, and I have other CRMs through my brokerage too. But I found there was a quote on simplicity is brilliance, or
Spreadsheets still are powerful tools.
yeah, they're super powerful because when I get a lead in, and I have a client coordinator that assists me too, and so
Mhm.
we plug in the lead, we plug in, we have just rows of information of every lead, and then
Yeah.
we count up the leads, and this gives me a peace of mind because I know that we converted about 25 to 32%, and so I
Okay.
actually have a formula at the end because right now I guess I don't want to share publicly how many leads we have, but we have a great pipeline of leads, and based on that conversion, I have a peace of mind knowing that this year's perfect, it's going to be fine.
No, and that's where forecasting comes into play, using those conversion numbers.
Yeah.
So, what kind of what is your we're getting kind of close to time here, but I want to get this one before I jump into the rapid round. What's the number one marketing strategy that you use currently?
That's a great question. Brand recognition is something that we built up within the local community, being in home shows,
Okay.
and winning awards, and just having a good presence. But then also our social media is
Okay.
pretty strong, pretty successful in the fact that I haven't looked this week, but I think last week we had, shoot, don't quote me, we had at least 6,000, if not 8,000 followers, likes on Facebook, and then we had about 5 or 6,000 on Instagram. And so
Nice.
yeah, and so when we post something, we get a lot of traction, and then I just strategically choose what the message and the campaign is all about, and I choose whether or not I want to boost it. But we get some pretty awesome organic things, and
Yeah.
there's a strategy there. That I could, I created my own social media strategy, and I coach it for my agents. I help other friends
Okay.
and businesses too, and it's just all about repetition and consistency. And I
Yeah.
used to outsource it, and I just found that being a storyteller is the best way to market and brand yourself.
Absolutely.
It's the 3 P's: price, promotion, and product, right? And we've got the
Yeah.
product does sell itself. I'm not trying to be boastful, but our designs are pretty cool. They stand out. People will say, we know a Dreamscape home, and we use that house as kind of a landmark for the neighborhood. Go to the house that's on the corner there. That was the house that Dreamscape had in the home show back in 2018, and you take a left, and we live over here in a Dreamscape house. And
That's a
so
good, it's a good marketing strategy to be the best around, that's for sure.
yeah, well, and I don't want to say we're the best around because we have awesome competition. We do believe in abundance. We know that there's thousands of permits that are going to be pulled every year, and we don't want to build, or do we have the capacity to build that many? I just want a fair share of my market, and 1%, 2%. I tell that to my real estate agents all the time. If you look on any given month, like if you can get 1.01 or 0.02% of the market share, that's awesome because no one else is
Right.
going to have that much, even the top heavy hitters. But marketing for me is one of my passions. So when I went to Iowa State, I got a finance degree, and I was a class or two short of getting a marketing degree. And I've
Okay.
read and followed so many different books of self development. And one of my favorite things to do, though, is just to be a brand ambassador of my company.
Absolutely.
Just know, like how to, like I said, a picture has 1,000 words, so you got to really tell that story of that client, make the client a hero. And we're here just to be servants to, them, and try to help them, achieve their goals. It's all about them. And, back to the P's, like I said, I mean, we do lead with a little bit of price marketing just to make sure people, when they see our houses, they think, um, these guys probably build nothing but $1 million homes, but little do they know, like I said earlier, if I can hit a budget, we'll figure it out. Just had a dad call for a 26-year-old daughter and her boyfriend, and I worked backwards. And as far as, okay, so they make X 100,000 per year. So that means based on a front end ratio of 25 to 30%, their payment should be this. And based on that payment and the down payment that they have, they're going to be somewhere in that 330 to 420. And unfortunately, Gabe, I'm not really set up to build in that price point. I do definitely
Sure.
represent builders in my brokerage that do those. I will, we have, over 40 some builders that we represent, and developers. And so I'll probably
Sure.
refer them on, but I was educating the dad. I said, okay, so dad, this is kind of what you can and can't do. And then just for my own math, I figured out, the price per square foot that we're at the type of homes that they're looking for. I'm like, wow, maybe we could. I got all the way down to 1,400 square foot 2-story. And I was like, on a $60,000 lot, back to my 20% ratio, I was like, I think I could build that if I really wanted to. And I do try to play nice with my builder friends and my agents that represent builders. And we've got plenty of great builders that build in that category.
So
So,
if I may, we're kind of running out of time here.
okay.
And I have like a ton more questions based on the things that you're saying. And I kind of wish I had a ton more time because I'm not kidding. You've been talking about things that I want to ask the question there and a question there. And but we got to get to this last part here, which are rapid fire questions. And as we begin to wrap up, these are going to be like quick hitters. So one word or one sentence to answer these. You think you're ready to go?
How much time we have?
Like less than 2 minutes.
Let's go.
Let's go. What is the key to success for you?
Being happy.
Oh, good one. What is your one piece of advice for other business owners?
Love what you do.
What is one book you are reading now or have read most recently?
Jesus Calling. It's an amazing book. Sorry, not sorry, but I am team
Who,
Jesus, team
who's it
God.
by?
Sarah, oh shoot, I can't remember her last name.
Okay.
Sarah is her first name. Sarah Young, maybe.
Okay. We'll
It's a
find it, I'm
daily
sure.
devotional book. I need to take probably the rest of the 2 minutes just telling people to read this book. Daily
It's a
devotional
good
book,
idea. Yeah.
and it's written like how God would speak to us as his father, as his children. And it's a pep talk. It's just some commands and obey things that we should obey in God. And it's not something that he's coming down hard on us. He's just saying, live in the moment, seek my guidance, seek my presence, be calm, understand that problems that I bring to you are actually blessings to help you raise yourself to your true purpose.
I love it. If you had to choose only one area of your business, Sue, that you could immediately improve tomorrow, what would it be?
One area of business, you might have stumped me that just I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty efficient. I'm pretty organized. I have a lot of help. I'm pretty leveraged as far as delegating to team members. Like I said earlier, I have a lot of systems, and
Fantastic.
I don't procrastinate. I love working. So I don't know. That's a great question. You totally stumped me, dude. I'm not trying
Yeah, I'll take
both.
one.
I just don't know. I just I guess more time to accomplish, more time and even more people to accomplish the true
that's a good
potential
one.
my
No,
company's
that's
at.
a good one. More time is always important. I know we can't get more time, but we can definitely choose what we do with our time. Before we get into the final question of the day, how can others learn more about you or your company? How can they get in contact?
Probably online. I'm on Facebook, Meksay, OU, and last name is Meksay, Meksay. I have a kind of a public facing page so they can follow me or friend request me. And yeah, I mix a little bit of personal with inspirational, motivational, and I try not to talk too much about my businesses.
Excellent. And last question of the day, what is most inspiring to you today?
Just my faith and my relationship and my hope and the joy that I get every day. Every day is a blessing. I don't know if I told you this, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor about 4 years ago, and I was told what my life expectancy was. And I was told that I needed to have brain surgery and get a 9-inch needle stuck in my head and do, umpteen rounds of chemo and this and that. And so what I know is that life is not guaranteed. You know, the next moment isn't. But when you figure out that there's 16 waking hours in every given day, and within one of those hours, whether it's 3 seconds or 30 seconds or 3 minutes, is a beautiful time to call a loved one, to be mindful of what you're doing. And so I don't remember the question, but I just know that that's kind of how I choose to,
You
you know,
nailed it. You
live
nailed
my
it.
live my life day by day, one step at a time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, you. That's a powerful story, right? As we wrap up, I just want to say thank you. This has been an amazing spotlight on your journey. I appreciate you sharing so much. I really do wish we had more time. You have a lot of very good mindset and insight into not just your business, but you personally. And I love some of the challenges that not only you shared on this, but with me yesterday on our phone call. And I am really interested in your life and your experience. But otherwise, thank you so much for being on this with us today.
One last thing, I know we're out of time, but you know, the challenges, like I said, are opportunities, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? That's an old saying that we learned when we were kids.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we have the right attitude, the right mindset on life, and fill it up with more gratitude and thanks versus you know, why me, you know, more faith,
Yeah.
even versus more fear. What if? That's just the wrong
What
way.
if?
Yeah, what ifs are not great. Even if is how I choose to live my life. And whether you're a business owner, yes, I mean, you can't really receive gratitude and blessing if you're full of the swampy stuff. And you know,
That's
Nikola
right.
Tesla said that our bodies are transmitters, and you can't receive or transmit anything that is worth it in life if you're blocking it with bad stuff.
Thank you so much, you. Yeah, no, that's great. This has been the Business Owner Spotlight with Meksay of Dreamscape Home Builders, excuse me, and your host, me, Gabriel Moore with Action Coach Business Coaching. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a great one. Thanks for having me.